Here we'll look at the best practices for setting up office hours using Zoom. So there's some really nice features of using Zoom as office hours. And office hours just mean it's a reserved space that people can come to you for help. And we're going to use a personal meeting ID to set that up. So it's the same link every single time. And we do want to make sure that we have the waiting room enabled. And because this is a space where students are going to be meeting with you, we're not going to be doing any recording. And when we're looking for guidelines for going digital, it's always best to look at what you do in the face-to-face world. And we do ask that teachers and students are not one-to-one by themselves in a classroom, just as a best practice. And so if you can do that with Zoom, that would be the suggestion as well. If you can have a parent on the other side or a para that's joining you, or maybe it's a few students getting help at once, that would be best practice. But you do need to use your own professional judgment. Now to get started, we want to check out our settings. And to do that, we're going to go to zoom.us. And this time when we log in and click on our profile picture, we're going to click on Meetings on the left-hand side. And at the top, we're going to click on Personal Meeting Room. I would then suggest going down to the bottom of the page and click Edit this meeting. Now your personal meeting ID is going to be the same every single time. That's going to give us that single click for students. And because we're using the waiting room feature, I'm really not going to worry about the password. I do think it's important to have the video off for both the host and participant, and to allow the telephone and the computer for audio options. So if you go down to the Meetings Options section, I would turn everything off with the exception of mute participants upon entry, and then they can toggle their own volume on when they're ready. And definitely you want to enable the waiting room and do not have the recording section on. And when you're done, go ahead and hit save. So now I'm ready to share my meeting. I'm going to hit copy the invitation, and I can copy and paste this into an email to my students and parents. I can post it in Skyward, or I can also post it to my Google Classroom. You can see there's other options, but I think Skyward and Google Classroom are probably the two biggest ones. Now it does appear that a lot of us have two different versions of Zoom on our laptops. And if you go down to the bottom left corner where it says search, just type in Zoom, and you're going to see one that's a perfect circle. That one's a little more limited, but you should also have one that is kind of a square with rounded edges. That's the one that you can download from Chrome into your stuff folder. And that one's the full version that does have that white background and has that option right there for the personal meeting ID. Now when I'm ready to join my office hours, I'm going to go to New Meeting, and I'm going to click the down arrow, and I'm going to choose Use My Personal Meeting ID. Now when I click New Meeting, it's going to start there. So here I am working at my office hours. I'm going to go ahead and stop my video while I'm working. I'm also going to unmute myself, and then I'll just wait for somebody to join. So I'm going to now turn it on. And she's in the waiting room. I'm going to admit her in. And I think my settings were to have everybody mute as soon as they enter. And now you're unmuted. So now we can have our virtual little meeting together. All right, thank you so much. And when you're ready to end, you can just go ahead and click End Meeting. And the question I've received the most is, how do you have students sign up for office hours? It might work for you just to have your open office hours and bring one student in at a time from the waiting room, work with them, and then go choose another student from the waiting room to pull in. If that's not working for you, students are waiting too long, or you'd rather have a sign up, you can use something in Google Calendar called appointment slots. To do that, you can go to your calendar, and you do need to be either in week view, or I believe day view works too, but not the month view. And you can go ahead and click on a time. So maybe I want my office hours to start at 9 a.m. I'm not going to click on event, but I'm going to click on appointment slots. And you can add a title and what time your appointment slots are going to start and end. And then how long should each slot last for? So here you might put 20 minutes. You can also choose more options, and that works well if you wanted to repeat this every day or every Monday. And when you're ready, go ahead and hit save. So here I can see my office hours are from 9 a.m. to 12:20, and currently nobody's signed up for any of my slots. But first I really need to make it available. So I want to click on this once and go to appointment page for this calendar. Now this link is something that I could post to Google Classroom, I can put it on my website, and people are going to see office hours and any gray area they can click on and sign up for that time slot. Now here I am logged in as a student, and I've clicked on the link for the appointment slots. Here I can see each time that's offered, and if there's one that works for me, I simply click on it and save. And depending on what you'd like, you can ask students to include a little description of what it is that they want to work on. And when I hit save, it's going to take that time slot away from anybody else using it, and it's going to add it to my calendar as well as the teacher's calendar. Now, when I look at the appointment slot page as the teacher, the time that a student signed up for is gone, and so no other student can sign up for that. And if I'm looking at my own calendar, and now on the teacher side, I can see that here's my office hours, and I do have somebody signed up for today. Thanks.